I'm Amanda, also known as Shuttermonkey. Welcome to my vlog, Crafting with Shuttermonkey. Today's episode is episode 3, and just before I get into the knitting and the crochet stuff and things like that, I should probably tell you a wee bit about where you can find me online. You can find me on Ravelry. I'm Shuttermonkey Designs over there. I sell my knitting and my crochet patterns on Ravelry. You can also find me on Etsy. Shuttermonkey Designs on Etsy as well. I sell some handmade bags and I've got fabric as well on there for sale just now. You can find me on Instagram. I'm Shuttermonkey on Instagram. That's my personal page. It's not a business page. You can find me on Payhip. I'm Shuttermonkey Designs on there too. That's where I'll be uploading any quilting patterns or fabric requirements I have. You can find them there. And you can also find me on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook, Shuttermonkey Designs. And I think that's the only places you can find me online. I live in Ayrshire, in the west coast of Scotland. We have some new restrictions currently just been brought in to help reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus. So we're not allowed to go into each other's houses just now. There's certain exemptions to that rule. If you're a couple, you're allowed to go visit one another. You can go back and forth and see one another. If you're a couple that don't live together, you can still go visit one another. But we're not allowed to get in and out of each other's houses. I think bars and pubs, they're going to be closing at 10 o'clock at night. They're encouraging you to go home early. That's just the first stage of new restrictions that's been brought in, and probably in the future there'll be some more brought in too. I'm not sure what it's like where you live, but you can let me know if you want to in the comments below. Anyway, first thing I'm going to show you today. I've not been out and about much over the past few months, to be honest. Supermarket shopping, maybe a trip to the local garden centre or for DIY store. But being used a local DIY store, I usually pop in there if we need anything for decorating or any gardening stuff. But I did pop out yesterday because I wanted to get some of these. I don't know if you've tried these yet. Lemon flavoured Turkish delights. Oh, they're lovely. They're really, really good. That's the regular ones. These are the rose flavoured ones. I love these. And this is the lemon ones. These are really delicious. They come in a pack of 3. And I got these in B&M Stores. Oh, I bought 2 packs of each. I probably shouldn't have. But I did. And while I was in there, I saw these balloons. I've not made them up yet. There's an inflator in there and you can hang them in a wee string, but I'll wait until October before I put these up. I could hang them behind me in my next vlog, couldn't I? Very easily pleased. And while I was in, I popped into the range as well and I found this. How cool is this? I found the bottom. I don't know how well it lights up. This was only $7.99, but I love Halloween houses. I've got a wee collection of them, so I didn't think I would get one this year, just with coronavirus and not being able to get out and about and see much, but I saw this yesterday and it was the last one, so I snaffled it in the range. It was only $7.99, but I can add that to my house collection. I'll maybe show you them next time, my Halloween houses. Such a great... Sorry. Right, I'm going to put her away now. There we go. Get all the Halloween nonsense out of the way first. Right, now we'll move on to knitting. I'm just about to release the first of a series of sock patterns. This is the old Shale Sock. This is still with test knitters just now. They're going to be finished by the end of this month. So I'm going to release the pattern on the 1st of October. Most of the test knitters have got on okay with it. They've maybe made their own adaptations if they know there's certain changes that they need to make because they know how they like to knit their own socks. But I'll maybe start at the beginning and run through the beginning and what you need to do to knit an old Shale sock. When I release this pattern, I'll give you guidelines of how to do things. There's also going to be video tutorials as well that I'm going to post onto YouTube. So when you start off, it's the cuff, and I've cast on 63 stitches for this cuff. I use the German twisted cast on method. That's a nice stretchy cast on, and it makes it easy to get your sock on and off your foot. I used to just use the cable cast on, which is fine for me and my daughter, but my husband has a high instep, so he needs something with a wee bit more stretch in it. Okay, but if you have your own stretchy cast on method you like to use, you don't have to stick to mine. You can use your own, use the one that you prefer. Okay, and it's 63 stitches. Normally for a medium size sock it's 64 stitches, but it's 63 stitches you cast on for this one because it just works out. The pattern repeat works better with 63 stitches for the leg. Once I've done my cast on, I then split my 63 stitches over 3 DPNs, so there's 21 stitches on each needle. Okay, I just find it easier to work like that, right? Especially for this sock here. And I kept it the same way when I was doing the leg. I had 21 stitches on each needle on 3 DPNs for working my leg. The cuff is it's a 3-stitch twisted rib repeat. So you're knitting into the back of your stitch twice, and then you purl. Works great because it's a 21 stitches on each needle. It just works well, that pattern repeat. If you know from previous experience that you like a wee bit more stretch in your cuff, just knit a regular rib, knit 2, purl 1, rather than knitting into the back of the stitches. It'll give you a wee bit more stretch on it. Okay, old shale pattern down the leg. Okay, the old shale pattern repeat is an 18-stitch pattern repeat. You've got 21 stitches on each needle, so you've got some extra, you've got some knit stitches at the beginning and at the end, just to eke it out, to make it work all the way around. Now see, if you want to do this in a 72 stitch, if you want to knit a large size, 18 stitches goes into 72 4 times, so you would just do the pattern repeat 4 times. That's not going to be in the pattern, but you can do that if you want to. Really handy, 72 stitches, 4 18s are 72, so you wouldn't have any extra knit stitches in between. Then you go into the cuff. Now for the cuff on this one, there is a setup round just before you start your cuff. On that setup round, you're going to rearrange your stitches just to get them into the right position so that the old shale pattern follows down the foot, follows down the leg and straight down your foot and comes down to your foot. I'm going to try and open this up so you can see it a wee bit better. Okay, it's just to keep the pattern running down the leg and into the foot. It's to keep the pattern looking nice. And you're also going to increase a stitch in that setup round to bring you up to 64 stitches. It's just a slip stitch heel. The heel is worked in rows going back and forwards. You're not working in the round on your heel. And then you'll pick up stitches. Sorry, you do the wee heel turn at the bottom, and then you'll pick up stitches along the side of your gusset, and you work down to the toe. It's just a rounded toe. That's usually the toe I stick with because that's the one that I like. I think it fits nice in all our feet. And then you catch the stitch the toe closed. Okay, now as I've said, the pattern is just a guideline. The pattern's for intermediate knitters, some people that have already knitted socks before. They know what they're doing, so you'll know by your own judgment what to do, how to make your socks fit. If you don't like twisted ribs, or if you want to make your heel flap, you can make it longer than what I'm saying. If you've got higher instep, you could make that longer to give you more stitches. You would just need to pick up some more stitches along your gusset edge here. Okay, but that would give you a deeper gusset to help fit your high instep. But if you're an intermediate knitter, you already knit socks, you'll know how to make those changes. You do not have to stick to what I've told you to do in the pattern. You can adapt it to suit yourself. There will be tutorial videos. I'm going to get those uploaded as soon as I can. I've got one, the German twisted cast on one's there, and the other ones are in the pipeline, okay? So if you are a beginner and you've never knitted socks before, you could give this a go. One thing I will recommend is that you do a tension swatch. You really, really need to do it. I know most knitters don't do it. They shy away from it. But you really, really need to do your tension swatch. If you're knitting a garment, you're knitting something that you want to fit, you really need to know what your tension is, okay? While we're on this, I just have something else I want to show you. A lot of people mistake this pattern and call it feathering. Oh, sorry, they call it feathering fan. This is old shale. definitely old Shale. This is Feather and Fan here. I don't know how well you'll see this. I'm knitting another sock just now, but can you see the difference in them? That's old Shale, that's Feather and Fan. This one I'm actually at the stage where I've just picked up the stitches. Oh, what side do I go? I'm blocking my light. I've just actually picked up my gusset stitches. When I knit socks, I only ever use 3 needles. I've actually got 4 needles here just because I've split the stitches in my instep. I've split them up over 2 needles because it's easier to get on the sock blocker to show you it. So normally when I write up a pattern, it will be for 3 DPNs. But if you knit with circulars, that's fine. You can change that yourself. You can do that yourself. You'll know what you're doing. But usually it's my instep stitches are usually needle 2 when I get to this stage, and these ones are needle 1 and needle 3. But as I say, again, you adapt it to suit yourself. If you knit in circulars, you carry on, do that. You don't have to stick to DPNs like I do. But that's your Feather and Fan. So you can see the difference, and that is your old Shale. Okay? Every day's a school day. Got these ones are actually, I popped these on the sock blockers. I'm going to show you the wee bag they're in because it matches quite nicely. Look, matching bag and socks. This is Cath Kidston fabric, this one. And this is a cotton duck. I really like making bags from cotton duck, the Cath Kidston stuff, because it's a heavier weight and you just need interfacing in them, and they stand up really well. They're really, really sturdy. Just some London fabric in the inside as well. And my wee DPN cozy, my wee London one as well. And just these are just some wee stitch markers and progress keepers from Chapel View Crafts. And I've got my wee DPN. You can check the size of your DPNs on here. It's a wee house. I got that when I was in Amsterdam, that wee house. Got it from the Stephen and Penelope shop. It's quite cute, isn't it? Anyway, just pop that back out the way. Right, I'm going to show you all the old Shale socks that I've knitted. You've already seen some of these, but this is the original pair. This is the first ones that I knitted. No, actually, that's the second pair I knitted. This was the first pair that I knitted. This is yarn called Christmas Cheer. The colourway is called Christmas Cheer, and this was dyed by my friend Helen, Sprite966. She's got her own podcast. She's my favourite. I think she calls it a podcast. Some people call them podcasts, some people call them vlogs. So I think Helen calls herself a podcaster. Anyway, this was dyed by Helen. Every time I get a notification to say Helen's got a vlog up, I watch it right away. It's just like sitting having a coffee with a friend. But this was Helen's yarn. There it's there. That's what I've got left over. And that's her wee ball band. But this was the very first pair I knitted, and I knitted these actually last Christmas. I've not worn them yet, but I'll wear them this year. And the wee mini skein for the toe and the heel was this one here. It's by it's by a company called Rainbow Cloud. This was Halloween colourways. This one was called Do Not Let Her Inside. And I thought it just looked really nice with Helen's yarn. The two of them look like they're supposed to be together, don't they? Can you see that? Perfectly matched. So anyway, that was the first pair I tried. I did keep the old Shale pattern going right across the foot. So you end up with a line of yarn overs right along the edge. Just where the instep goes onto the foot, the sole stitches. And I wasn't sure if I liked that, so I took that out when I did this one. Okay, so it's slightly different. That was the first ones I did, and I slightly amended it for the pattern. Just in case you see a wee extra row of yarn overs down there and you think, what has she done there? That's what I did. And then I did my rainbow ones. You've seen these before. Did these rainbow ones for me. These ones were for my daughter. And I've did another pair. Made another pair of rainbow ones. So I've got 4 pairs. Sorry, 3 pairs. I can't even count to 3. 3 pairs of rainbow ones. All ready to go. I'm going to give them to the recipients. My daughter's still patiently waiting in hers. I haven't even taken photographs of these ones yet. I should get them photographed, added to Ravelry, and actually give her socks to wear. And then I've showed you these ones as well already. This is the shorty ones. These ones are for my daughter as well. So I think I'm all old shaled out. I don't think I'll be knitting any more of these socks. There's plenty of them. There's a few pairs been knitted by test knitters as well. And I'm going to release the pattern on the 1st of October. Okay. Other socks that I have are Helter Skelter. This one's currently with test knitters as well. So I'm hoping to release this the middle of October. This was originally going to be scooshed to match my scoosh shawl. But then I come up with an easier pattern for scoosh. So I renamed these ones to Helter Skelter. This is just a little twist. 4-stitch pattern repeat. It's got a little twist. Can you see it better that way? And both socks, they twist in opposite directions. So that one will be coming out the middle of October. Okay. And the last pair of socks that I'm going to share today are these ones. These are my, I think it's called Stiallach. It means stripy in Gaelic. That's why I called it that. But see when you name a pattern, you never expect to have to say the name out loud. I don't speak Gaelic, or is it Gaelic? I'm not sure if it's Gaelic or Gaelic. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But Stiallach, these ones are called. There's worse things. You could be Scottish and spell whiskey with an E. You don't do that. I worked at a newspaper once and the editor put E in whiskey. He was South African, so he didn't know any better. See the letters of complaint we got in about that? Anyway, back to the socks. These are the Stiallach socks. Stripy socks. Very easy to do. So I'm looking for test knitters for these ones so I can get them released the end of October, beginning of November, okay? These are very straightforward. The only thing I've done, you know when you get the wee colour jog down here? I keep hiding my... You know when you get the wee colour jog down here? I've actually made these socks so that runs down the inside. So if you're wearing your socks and anybody can see them, you don't see the colour jog on the outside. These wee colour jumps here, can you see that on the inside? These wee jumps where your strands come down. So when you wear your socks, they'll both be to the inside, or you can have them both to the outside if you prefer. Okay, so I'm looking for test knitters for these ones. If anybody would like to do that for me, that would be great. But I'll pop these onto Ravelry so you can get more details of the pattern on there, and you can contact me through Ravelry, or I'll put a wee link below how you can contact me if you're interested in doing that for me. The only other thing I wanted to say about knitwise is see this yarn here. This is the one that was dyed by my friend Helen. Helen, if you're watching this, I hope you're feeling better. She was in hospital. She had a wee operation. Well, it wasn't a wee operation, it was quite a big one. So I hope you're feeling much better. Okay, so this is Helen's yarn. There's about 35 grams of that left over. See if anybody would like this. They want to try knitting with Helen's yarn. Leave a wee comment below. And if there's more than one comment, I'll pick a winner, okay? We'll call it a wee giveaway. And there's only 35 grams there. You might get a pair of shorty socks. And I'll put this wee 10 gram mini skein in as well. You can do contrast in toe and heel, okay? You might be able to squeeze a wee pair of socks out of it. If not, you can maybe use it, put it in an advent swap or use it in a blanket, okay? So you can let me know below if anybody would like that. And the other thing I would like to give away, it's not really a giveaway, I'm just clearing out a wee bit of stash. These wee mini balls of yarn, these are left over from socks. There might be about 10-15 grams on each of these. It's probably nearer 15. These were socks that I knitted for my husband, so that's how they look knitted up, okay? This was the Knitting Goddess that dyed this yarn. So I've got them. If anybody wants those wee balls, let me know. And I've also got a blue colourway. I don't have the socks, they're already worn down and been binned. But I've still got these wee balls of yarn left over. And this is the leftover from these socks here, okay? If anybody wants that wee bit, this is Drops Delight. But if anybody can use these up, put them into advent swaps or put them into a blanket that they're knitting. I know a lot of people like to do the mitered square blankets. So if you can take these off my hands, please do. They're just lying a bit here. Okay. Right. I think I've got one more knitting thing I can share with you. It's in this bag here. I'll show you the bag in a wee bit, okay? This is my Zweig sweater. I started this in the summer and I've not really knitted on it much, so I'm going to show it here because see if I show it off, it'll encourage me to work on it a wee bit more before my next vlog. So I've just got by, that's the neckband up here, and this is the yoke at the top. It'll get around here, and then I'm just about to go on, I think I'm going to go split off for the armholes now and start to work on the body, and that's just all plain grey down there. But that's can you see that okay? Yep, you can see a wee bit of the stranding at the back. But I am using, what am I using? I'm using Ribbon Pure Wool 4-ply to do this. This is a discontinued yarn, but I managed to find some on eBay. I'm a Rowan girl at heart, to be honest. Every time I'm looking for yarn, I always end up reverting back to Rowan. But these are in this bag here, which actually makes a nice wee transition into patchwork and quilting. I showed you this bag, well actually I showed you the blocks last time. I had lots of log cabin blocks made. I made 8 log cabins and I made 4 courthouse steps blocks. There was a couple of bigger ones as well. Each have just got 3 rounds of pattern. 3 rounds of fabric around the centre. Sorry, I should say, I get my words all mixed up again. So this is the Finch Bucket. That's by a Canadian designer, Jade Prosser. She's on Instagram, she's called Stitch Mischief, and this is her bag design. Mine's is a wee bit bigger than the pattern, the biggest bag in the pattern should be. When Jade designed the bag, she has an accent panel. You can make it with an accent panel up here. And my accent panel is my log cabins and my courthouse steps. So mine's ended up 5 inches higher. You just interface this bag, but when I made mine, I made it all as one big panel. I put all my log cabins together. So I've got my 4 log cabins here at the front with the pink joining in the middle. And at the back, I've put them together with the black. And then at the sides, I've just put my courthouse steps blocks at the side. 4 there. I'm losing the place. There we go. And there's the other side. So I quilted this all as one big panel. I sewed them all together. I put the base on as well, and I quilted it with wadding. You don't have to quilt it. The original bag pattern only tells you to interface them, but just because I use Liberty fabric and it's quite fine, I thought I would give it a wee bit more structure, make it a wee bit more sturdy. And I knew it was going to be a wee bit bigger as well. So mine's is a wee bit bigger, as I say, than the original. The only other thing I changed was there's this wee handle here. And in Jade's bag pattern, it tells you to put it on the side. But because I quilted this all as one big panel, my join is actually here at the back. When I joined my panel together to make the bag, it's down here, so it's off to the side at the back. So I couldn't put my handle in there because it wouldn't be right at the side. It did need a handle because it's such a big bag. So I thought I'll just put it in the top where the drawstring is, and then I can still pick it up and carry it about. When Jade released this bag pattern, she actually had pictures of her wee boy inside the bag. I think I could get a baby elephant in my bag, never mind a human baby. It's huge. So right now, inside I've got my jumper, my Zweig, and I've got all the yarn in here that I need. So that's the pink, and I've got all the dark grey that I need. My patterns in here as well. My little test swatch that I did just to make sure that I was getting gauge before I started my jumper. Honest, I always knit a test swatch if it's something fitted. And I'm just going to turn this inside out so you can see the inside of the bag. So this is the inside. I had 2 bigger blocks that I made, 1 courthouse steps, 1 log cabin, so I've used them as pockets. So they're inside my bag. I did put interfacing on those and they're inside. And then I've got the smaller pockets here as well. And this is a Lewis and Irene fabric. It's fairies that's on it. They had a whole range of this that was glowing, it glows in the dark. Oh, it's lovely. but I'm not sure if that one glows in the dark. I'll need to check that out. But anyway, pop it back in round the right way. There we go. And that is the Finch Bucket. See, even if I find that this is too big and I don't like it as a knitting bag, see the quilt that I made? See, when it's not in my bed, I could store it in here, couldn't I? It would come in handy for that. Then I know when it's in the cupboard, that's that quilt there. The next thing to share with you, patchwork and quilting wise, is the Real Friends Quilt-Along that I'm hoping to host. So I've made a start on mine. Do you remember I showed you the Halloween fabrics I had last time? Well, I've been making them into a quilt. Actually, I've been making them into a quilt top because I've not quilted it yet. So this is it here. This is that's about a quarter of it. So it's 4 times this size. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm keeping this quilt for me when I make it. I love Halloween. You can tell by the Halloween houses and the balloons that I showed you earlier. I do like Halloween, but I've not got a Halloween quilt. I've made 2 before, but I've always given them to my daughter because she likes Halloween a wee bit more than me. But so I'm going to put a photo tutorial onto my blog. I'll put a link to my blog below so you can find that. I'll put it up on the 1st of October. It'll be the same day that I release the pattern for my socks. But there's just a couple of things that I wanted to go over so you know what I'm talking about if you're relatively new to sewing, or maybe even just you don't know the jargon that I use or whatever, so you know what I'm talking about. I've told you to buy 4.5 meters of the fabric. That's what I've used for this. It's 4.5 meters. And I've then told you to cut it into 2-inch strips, 2 inch by the width of fabric. If you don't know what that means, if you buy your fabric, it's usually folded over. It's usually folded in half. And width of fabric is from the selvage edge. You'll have 2 selvages, so when you open that up, it's huge, it's that width. Okay, it's about 42 to 44 inches. Different fabric companies, there's a slight difference in the width, but that's your width of your fabric. Okay, it goes from selvage edge to selvage edge, just so you know what I'm talking about when you read that online. Okay. This is a 1/2 metre of fabric. In the UK, it's meters we work in when we buy fabric. It's centimetres you buy it in. So this is your 1/2 metre. So this is 42 to 44 inches wide, and it'll be 50 centimetres high. So this is a 1/2 metre, okay? If you have fat quarters, you could use fat quarters. You could use, if you've got 2 the same fat quarters, you could use 2 fat quarters each colour rather than the 1/2 metre, okay? And if you don't know what fat quarters are, if you buy, it's a metre of fabric, that's a 1/2 metre, so it would be double that, okay? If you buy a fat quarter, it's this size, that's a fat quarter. And if you buy a fat 1/8, it's this size, okay? Oh, no, it would be folded the other way, that's the selvage edge, sorry. Okay. So I think a fat 1/8, a UK fat 1/8 works out, it's about 9.75 inches by 21, 22 inches wide. Okay, it's still a good chunk of fabric you're getting, and that's the size that most of the fabric in my shop, that's the size I sell it at. So if you're looking to get a wee bit of fabric just to try it, some paper piecing, you could go with that. So that's covered the width of fabrics. You're going to sew everything at a 1/4 inch seam. They'll all be 1/4 inch seams unless it says so in a particular instruction. It's everything's sewn together at a 1/4 inch seam. When you start cutting up your 1/2 meters, you're cutting them into 2-inch strips. You need 9 2-inch strips from each of your 4.5 meters, and you're going to start sewing these together, and you'll make big long strips that look like this. Okay, this is the final strip. You get 6 blocks from each strip, and that final one, you only need 1 block, so this is left over actually. But it's not going to go to waste. I'm going to chop this up and I'm going to make a Halloween bag. I'll maybe show you that next time if I get it done. Okay, and at the back, the seams are pressed to the dark side. Okay. That's the way, most of the time in the UK, that's how we quilt. Only recently I've started pressing some seams open, but most of the time press it to the dark side, so they're all going down the way towards the darker fabric. So if it's the white, you press onto that, onto the orange, you'll press it down to the purple, and the purple you press down to the black. There'll be a photo tutorial online that'll show you how to do all of this, okay? I will be uploading a PDF. It's probably going to be about 8 or 9 pages long, the PDF, and I will be charging for that. You don't have to buy the PDF. There should be enough instructions there in the photo tutorial that you can do this. But if you want to buy the PDF, it's there. If you come back, say a year or two down the line, how do I make that quilt? You've got a printed out PDF, you know how to do it. I'll put some extra bonus sheets onto the PDF as well, like colouring sheets almost, so you can try colouring it in and seeing how it looks. It's a good thing to do, colouring in during coronavirus, isn't it? It's meant to be stress relieving. I've never tried colouring in to relieve stress. I don't like it when I go outside the lines. I find that really stressful. The only other thing you'll need, you've got your fabric for the front to make your quilt top. That's the stage I'm at here. I've got my quilt top made. You'll also need some binding fabric. I might use this one to bind. I'm not sure yet. I prefer darker fabrics in my binding. That's just a personal preference. You go with what you like. So I do have that other ½ metre left over I could use for my binding. You're also going to need your fabric for the back, and I'm going to use this green one. A nice wee pop of green on the back. And you'll need some wadding to sandwich in the middle. It's up to you what you use for wadding. I usually stick to this brand here, this Warm and Natural. And you don't have to go buy a big huge piece. See, if you're in Scotland, Manders sell it. You can buy just what you need. You can buy the width that you need, the length that you need, and they'll cut that up and send it to you. But they were out of stock when I looked for the Warm and Natural. I think they had 80/20 left, but they didn't have. This one used to be 100% cotton, it was billed as, but I don't think it is. I think it's only 97. There's a bit of scrim in there as well. But you can buy, this is just a crib size bit. I bought this online and it was only, I think it was £12. So that'll give me enough. I've actually got enough out of that. That'll make this quilt, and I'll have enough to do my bag as well. If I do a matching bag with the leftovers, I'll have enough of that left for that too. You don't have to stick to cotton wadding. You can use polyester, you can use bamboo, you can use wool. You use whatever you think is best. You might have some stuff lying about that you can use and you don't have to buy anything. The only other thing is to say about the Quilt-Along. When quilters, we tend to stick to cotton fabrics, 100% cotton fabrics. And see, when you're sewing up, use cotton thread. Okay, I know a lot of people out there will sew them together and they'll use polyester thread, but see if your quilt's getting used and worn and it's getting pulled about, and okay, polyester thread is stronger than the cotton fabric. So if something's got to give, it'll be your fabric that rips. Okay, if you use cotton thread with your cotton fabrics, if it's getting pulled about and roughed about, it'll be a thread that bursts. It's so much easier to make a repair and burst thread than it is to repair ripped fabric. Okay, it's just something to keep in mind when you're making your quilt. If you need a video tutorial on how to layer up your quilt top ready for quilting, I'm hoping to do that. It might be a couple of weeks before I've got it ready, but I'll tell you more about that in my next vlog, okay? And I think that's all I need to tell you about the Quilt-Along. If you've got any questions or you need to know anything else, just pop a wee question below and I'll get back to you, okay? And the only other thing to show you, patchwork wise, is my wee pennant. I got it finished. Can you see it? It's got all my pins on. So that's all 17 pins that I own. They've all got a wee home now. I'm going to hang this up somewhere. I don't know whether to put a bit of thread, a bit of string on it and hang it up with the string, or just to cut it down, because I've less space here and I can get a couple of picture hooks in the wall and I can just hang it up like that, and you won't see the picture hooks. It would just be straight up, straight onto the wall, and it looks like it's just hanging. That's the way I usually hang my mini quilts, but I'm quite pleased with that. It's got all my pins on there, all in one place now, rather than lying in shelves and getting knocked over when you get into the shelf, because you're getting into that shelf looking for some yarn or threads or something. They've all got a home now. Most of these pins are actually toffed. You see there's some wee animals on there. And I'm going to show you more of that in the crochet section, more toff things, okay? Crochet. I've been working away on my granny squares as part of my granny square crochet along, and I've started putting them together. Oh, I think it's upside down. I think that's supposed to be the top. So I've got 4 sections that look like this, and I've got to start putting these together. I was hoping to be further on actually with this by now, but when I did my initial granny squares and I did them on the needle size that the pattern asked for, I got them to the 2.75 inches that the pattern asked for, but I didn't like them. I thought they were a bit holy, gapey. And it's going to be, I know you'll wear a vest top under it, but you still don't want huge big holes. So I made mine in a smaller hook. I'm actually using a 3.5, and I think the pattern called for a 4. So my squares are slightly smaller. So I knew I had to make more squares. So I went with the size, the number of squares that you need for the largest size of the vest top, and it said 49. So this is 48 squares. I'd made them. But then when I had a wee look at the pattern, there's nothing wrong with the pattern, by the way. This is just my changes are just to suit me better. If you look at the pattern, this is it here, okay, online. There's only 2 rows of granny squares around here. And I just felt that I'm not as nice and slim as the model on here. So I thought I would be better having 3. So that's why mine's are 3 high. I just thought that would fit better on a vest top for me. So I'm going to have to make a few more of these. I'm going to have to make another 17. So I'm making those just now. And then I'm going to start putting it all together, putting it around. And I can start then picking up the stitches and working the bottom part of the vest top. So that's where I am just now with that. And just in case you didn't see that, that's the top that I'm working on just now. But I just think for me it would be better with the 3 rows of granny squares rather than just the 2. Okay, so that's where I am with that. You saw from a little pennant there that I have a lot of Toft pins. That's because I like to crochet a lot of the Toft's toys. I quite like doing it. It's amigurumi, isn't it, you call it? I quite like doing those toys. And I've got a few wee toys here to share with you, to show you today. I don't know if any of you know the Toft company. They do a lot of, they used to do knitwear, and they used to do a lot of knitwear designs. I think that's how Kerry started off, and then she branched into crochet. She taught herself to learn how to crochet, and she started designing little toys. So these are a couple of little toys. This is the wee unicorn. Scottish, you have to have a unicorn. And this is Pegasus. Okay, they're standard animals. They're the standard size. You can make them, you don't have to, these ones are made with Toft yarn. You don't have to stick to Toft yarn. You can use any yarn you like. I actually went to meet Kerry last year, and she came to John Lewis in Glasgow, and I got to go meet her. She was lovely. And she doesn't mind if you don't crochet with her yarn. If you buy her patterns, you can buy them in books. You don't have to buy her kits, and you can crochet her toys. She was delighted with some of the ones, and they were knitted with Aldi yarn, and oh, they were stunning. But that's the basic animals. Pegasus and the unicorn. She also, this is the red panda. She's one of my favourites. She was an advent calendar. You got a wee tiny bit of yarn and you opened it up every day, and Kerry emails the pattern out every day. You got a wee bit of pattern each day. So you opened your advent calendar, got your yarn, and then your pattern was emailed to you, and you made this through the month of December. I think that was 3 years ago she did this one. But this is Gloria the red panda. And there's also birds. This was another Christmas crochet along. This is Rory, the red cardinal. He was a pretty special one. Toft didn't used to have red in their colour palette. So I think he was the first animal creature that appeared with red yarn. She also does monsters. She has a monster book. Can you see her okay? This is Bella the monster. The monster book's quite good. It's a flip book, so you can change the head and you can have a different body, different feet, different legs. That's a wee flip book, and it's really, really good. So if you manage to get your hands on a copy of that, there's endless possibilities, different monsters that you can make. And then she also does dollies as well. I'm going to show you this one first. This is a Grim Reaper. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea. But do you know what? See, if he was smaller, he could live in that house, couldn't he? We'll pretend that's his house, okay? But the detail on this, the reason I'm showing you this one, it's the detail. Look at those toes. Can you see them? And his wee fingers as well. Look at all the detail on there. He's got knobbly knuckles and knobbly toes as well. Oh, I hope you can't see right up his dress because he'll not like that. Other dollies. Oh, better make them presentable. This is Santa. When Toft released this one, the Christmas, it was a couple of years ago they released this, they didn't actually have red in their colour palette, so it's green. But Santa did used to be green before. Was it one of the soft drinks companies got a hold of him and changed them to red? So I quite like the green Santa. And he had a wee elf. And then see the year that they brought out the cardinal, I had a wee bit of that left over, so I managed to make another one, crochet another wee elf. Just with the leftover yarn, I didn't have enough to do the tights red, so she's got pink. But if you notice, my poor wee elves have got no eyes and no ears, and they've got no shoes. One of my many, many whips. So I'll need to try and get these finished for Christmas, because they've got really cool wee elf ears. And the other thing that she makes is dinosaurs. This is Victoria. Victoria's a Triceratops, and this is Stanley. Stanley's a Stegosaurus. These are my favourite things to make. I love the dinosaurs. Can you see them okay? I'm not blocking my own light, am I? These ones aren't made using Toft Jam. These ones are Stellcraft. I just like the colours in those. They're kind of marbled and mottled, and I just thought they were nice for dinosaurs. Can you see her better over there? There. But if that's something that you're interested in doing, Toft do lots of books. I'm not sponsored here or anything, I just love them. I just love making Toft toys. So there's a wee dinosaur book, and you've got patterns in there to crochet. Batman will be coming along and slapping me. But there's all the patterns are in there for the dinosaurs. She's also got a sheep book. Lots of different breeds of sheep in there, if you like making sheep. And the newest ones that she's just brought out, she's just launched, are these ones. There's lots of wee minis in here. I've not made anything from this book yet, but previously I have made some of the minis. And these are great because you can make these up in an afternoon. They're really, really quick to make. There's quite a few different patterns in here. I need to be careful. I don't want to put the patterns on this video and get into trouble. There's penguins and pufferfish, and there's a hammerhead shark. But these are all wee mini ones. There's a manta ray, there's prawns, there's starfish. And all the different Toft colours that are available. So this is a wee octopus. This is Orla. And there's Jordan, the crab. There's Jordan, the lobster. And this is a wee crab. I think this is Cedric. And then there's Cat the turtle. So these are quite small compared to the size of the other ones. They're wee dinky ones. Very easy to make. Get them made in an afternoon. A lot of people have made these little ones and then they turn them into mobiles and put them above babies' cribs. They're quite nice, aren't they? And I think that's all I've got to share with you today. The only other thing I did want to say is a big thank you to Jane. She's Mouse Knits and Crafts. She gave me a shout out on her vlog, which was really, really nice. I was watching it and it was like, she just said my name. So a big thank you to Jane. Thanks for doing that. But anyway, that's all I've got to share today. Thanks for watching. Bye.